We always want what we can't have. The Supra, back in the day, you can go to a dealership and purchase one. You could never purchase a Nissan Skyline. We tend to put it above everything else. So when we do see it here in the States, I'm like, oh my God, here's a legend. Here's a piece of art driving on the road, the legendary Skyline. We treasure more something that is not easily obtained. And so once you obtain it, it's like a treasure that you don't want to let go. And that is this car for me. My name is Jay Kho. I drive a 1983 Nissan Skyline DR30. I remember seeing videos of them racing it in the circuit. They pretty much wanted to introduce it to the world and saying, hey, look at us, we are Nissan, we can actually do what you guys are doing. The Alpha and the Porsches are the one who's actually winning the circuit. And I think that's when the whole Nissan Skyline was glorified and say, wow, we have a contender. That's where it grew. I grew up in the Philippines. My father is a street racer. He buys and sells cars as well. I remember not having encyclopedia, but I remember seeing children's books. And all the time, we always have cars. We always have something that is different from the rest. In Asia, there's not a lot of American cars or European cars, so my father would buy, sell, and trade. And of course, he would race his Japanese car, and that's what he would use, in the street at midnight. When I got here in the States, 13 years old, it's so cool for me to see American cars. It's so cool for me to see European cars. That drew me into that. My toy car was a 1966 Mustang. I was driving that for a while. There was a time where I started thinking about, I feel like I want to go back to my roots. Luckily, I saw an ad in Craigslist. This guy just recently got back from Okinawa, Japan. He brought DR30 into the States and it was unregistered. It looked like it came from a container, went to the garage. The only issue was the fuel pump, supposedly, but looking for a trade. I grabbed a friend of mine and then I told him, no matter what you do, don't act excited because we want to make this deal. And so when I got there and I saw the Ford taillight, that very distinguished look of the Skyline, I'm like, oh my God, right? So here I am, I'm like, oh crap, I better not show that I'm super excited. This is something that I don't see all the time. A Nissan Skyline in the States. This is something from a magazine, or this is something just from a PlayStation. Right away, I knew I had to have it. I had to make a trade. I don't know whether it was the same value. At that time, I really didn't care. The import thing was already taken care of, but it wasn't registered. That was the scary part on my side where I'm like, well, would I be able to register this? Is all the paperwork here correct? Went to the DMV, came out, talked to me. He goes, what car is this? I'm just trying to play it cool. It's just a Nissan Skyline. Yeah, same thing like a Sentra. In my head, I'm like, oh, please let me register this. And after about an hour, he came out. I'm like, okay, here's your paper. Take it to the DMV, inside the DMV, and you're all set. I'm like, yeah. I wasn't able to find parts for the engine parts that's missing. I know the DR30 was popular because of the 4-valve DOHC turbo, so I really didn't want to go far from that. The right thing for me to do was transition to an SR20, which is the same exact thing. It's just newer. I'll be able to enjoy it and not worry about braking and just being stuck in the garage. I grew up in the 80s. I'm an 80s kid. Look at this car and right away, you know it's 80s. It's made in the 80s. It's so boxy. It's just the angular shape to it. It has a decent power. It's enough for me to enjoy it. Love hearing the spool. It's like the Godzilla. It's like the best Japanese car. It's something that you can't see on the streets. It's something that we could only dreamed of or aspired. I treasure more on something that is hard to get I feel like once it's gone out of my hands, I wouldn't be able to get it back, and I would regret it. Knowing that you have it in your garage, you go turn on the light, you look at your garage, I'm like, wow, it's there. It connects me to other people who enjoys this the same thing as I am. I love seeing people's reaction. I'll open the door, sit right in. Having that experience is it's really rewarding for me.